Good morning and welcome to day 3 of our sew along. Today we're starting sewing, and the first step of the pattern is the optional pocket. The pattern has two different pockets. One is an inseam pocket and one is a patch pocket. I love both of them. I've made both of them. For this sew along I've decided to go with the patch pocket. Both are just as easy. It's just I wanted the patch pocket. I find it to be a little bigger than the inseam pocket. So I have a big phone. Let's just say that's the excuse. I really don't have an excuse. It's just random. So I like them both the same. I went ahead and folded the pocket band lengthwise and pressed it. And I also did a memory hem to the top of the pocket. So it's very important that you lay your pattern correctly when you fold. So this will be the top edge of the pocket. So that one I went ahead and folded a 1/2 inch memory hem. Now I'm going to unfold it and I will just pin the band right sides together to the pocket opening. So you will see, if you pin at the beginning and at the end, you will notice that the band is a little smaller than the opening, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. You need to stretch the band to fit. And now you can pin it in place. If you're comfortable working without the pins, that's fine too. So with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, I'm going to add my band using a triple stretch stitch. I started the beginning with it laying flat, and then I pull it to match. Oh, I see what happened. Got stuck in this is a great troubleshooting moment. My thread got stuck in the pull in the plastic spool, so that's why it kept popping out. Let me make it a little longer. If you're sewing for kids, it's important that the band is super tight, because they tend to pull on things. Sewing for me, and I'm not as rough as my kids, so I can do a length of 3.5. The tighter the stitch length, the stronger the stitch. But being that it's already a triple stretch, I think it's strong enough even with a 3.5 length. Obviously, this step you could do it on a serger too. Make sure if you do this on the serger that you remove a 1/4 of an inch, because the pattern follows a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So this is how it looks. I'm just gonna fold it and top stitch it. And of course you'll be repeating the same step for the other pocket. I'm gonna top stitch it with an even longer stretch stitch. Maximum is 4. I'm gonna top stitch it with that. And again, for this step you can definitely use your cover stitch machine. So this is the pocket top stitched. All you have to do now to finish the pocket before you add it is fold the top 1/2 inch. The first part doesn't have a hem because it's the band, the memory hem, but the other one has a memory hem from before, so it's pretty easy. You just hem it, and then we'll attach it to the front pieces of the pattern, of the cardigan. step is actually optional, but I like to do it because it gives more strength to the pattern. If you are bothered by the 2 stitching lines, you can skip this step. I personally am not bothered. I actually find them nicely decorative. So you can skip the hemming step that I'm doing right now and simply lay your pattern on the front piece as I'm about to do right now, and you'll have one single stitch. I will go ahead, because it went a little wavy on me, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a quick steam just to make sure it lays nice and flat. One little steam and it's nice and flat. Never skip pressing and steaming, you know, I always insist on that. So now obviously you'll repeat the same thing for the other pocket. Now grab your front pieces and we will be adding, I think I worked with the wearer's right side right now. So on the front piece, we will be adding the pocket like so. Super easy. Just pin it in place. It will fit the curve perfectly. Something that I did want to mention, if you've graded in any way, make sure you grade your pockets and your sleeves too, to make sure that all the curves are matching. Alright, so this is my front. It's kind of a camouflage pocket because it's exactly the same fabric everywhere. So I'm gonna go ahead and pin it in place. And you can baste everywhere but the top. If you just want to baste, which is what I'm going to do, you can baste everywhere, meaning this side and the curve, you can just baste it because that will be enclosed in a band. This needs to be open, so you can have a pocket opening. And the top is the only one that needs to actually be sewn down. You can use a cover stitch, or you can use a zigzag stitch, or you can use a triple stretch stitch. If you don't want to use pins for this step, what I sometimes like to do is use wash away Wonder Tape. This is actually not Wonder Tape per se. It's a, I don't want to say knockoff from Amazon. It's a less expensive option for Wonder Tape, but works just as fine. So I just put on the hem one strip, press it down, peel it off. That is if you don't want to use pins. If you want to, because you can't use clips for the top. And it stays right there, see? It doesn't fall. So we're gonna go ahead and stitch down the top of the pocket. You can stitch on top of the hemming stitch, right next to it, like a decorative two, it will look like a 2 stitches, or you can do a zigzag stitch, or it's fairly easily to customize right now. So just the top, and then I'm gonna baste all around. You can actually get creative, and if you change the threads, you can do a nice decorative stitch. Let's do a zigzag stitch. or no, I'm gonna continue with my triple stretch, but at the widest length, or the longest length. Optionally, here in the corner, especially if you make this for your little ones, when you sew the corner down, I recommend doing like a triangle stitch. This way it has more strength, because you know how they tend to pull the pockets, especially when they're stuffing them. You should do like a little triangle to reinforce the sleeve. Alright, so my top is added, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just baste with just a regular straight stitch and the longest length. I'm just gonna baste all around. All this part will be removed when I add my bands, because those I'll be adding with the serger. And the other side. Perfect. So obviously it's wavy right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it a good steam press, and it's gonna go back to its original size. So my pocket is ready. Repeat the same thing for the other side. And then the last step of the day will be to sew the shoulder seams. So for that you will need to lay your back piece right side up, and then match the shoulder seams, making sure that you have the inside going on the inside. So this is my shoulder, this is my front shoulder, back shoulder. Match, pin, and sew with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I like to do this step on my serger. And that's the last step of day 3. So once you've done with your pockets and the shoulder seams, all you have to do is post a picture of your progress in the comments of the day 3 photo of the sew along album, and this will count as your daily check-in. So I'm gonna go ahead and search and make sure I finish the other side, snap a picture, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we'll continue the cardigan sewing, and I believe we're doing the sleeves tomorrow. Bye!